Yeah.
Please let me know if you have any questions, and Alan has my information. If any of you guys ever want to call or email me, please do. I'll be happy to email you back or call you back or whatever and just talk grills with you.
Good. Well, so I'll make sure everybody gets your contact information, Justin, and appreciate that. So don't fall off the line yet, okay?
Okay.
I might have questions for you, but I wanted to share a couple things with you. The two items you talked about before, the Ranger tailgater, right? We don't have those in our stores right now. So this week we'll take a peek and see what the availability is in the warehouse, and we might end up bringing in a couple of those models stores and see how they do. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch base on is Justin talked about inventory of that's okay. Inventory is kind of tight, and we found that in our own distribution center. So a week ago, Steve approved for us to go out and purchase a pretty significant amount of all the grills that were available that we can sell. We didn't go after any of the really large one. Justin, that was kind of based on your recommendation on what may be happening with that item. But we did find out that there were no tailgaters, and there still aren't any of the tailgaters available.
We are out of tailgaters right now too, so it's tough.
And that is our #1 seller. So unfortunately, we don't have it available, but we'll keep kind of watching and reviewing, and if some pop up, we'll order them. But where I was going with this is what we did, Justin, for Traeger is kind of the same thing we did with Weber. We put together a two-sided sheet. One side for the Weber showed the different types and kind of the key call outs and the important what's I say what's the word I'm looking for? What's that?
Key features.
Yeah, thank you. The features of them. And then on the back side it had like, here's 10 of the most important reasons that you can talk to a customer about a Weber grill on why they want to own a Weber grill. So what we're doing with the Traeger one is we've got the same thing. I don't know if you all can see that, but it'll be one side with product, and it'll talk about each of the key features that Justin just covered. So you don't have to memorize them. Okay. And then on the back side, you'll have it's about 8-9 bullet points again of why you'd want to buy or own a Traeger. Okay. And we'll have those on our grill displays, just like we do on our Webers. And I just challenge everybody to use those. Okay. It's okay to tell a customer, you know what, I'm not sure, but let me grab my help sheet here, and you can go through it with the customer. Okay. And
there is something else helpful for like all the Wi-Fi, information that we have, turbo temp, the direct drive. Once you open a Pro 575 or 780 on up, all the information that I just went over is actually on the inside of the grill, on the grill. So that's a big help too. And there's information on the front of the grill.
Good deal. All right, great. So I would just tell you, use the tools that are there for you. Okay. We're not asking anybody to be a pro at it or remember all the different features. Use this information that we'll put together, and your store managers will have that this week as I visit them. They'll get copies of it, and they'll laminate them just like we did at the Weber and put them on all the displays to help you interact with the customer. Okay.
I did forget one key point too. We got a 3-year, 365-day. We got a 3-year full warranty, bumper to bumper on the grill. So if anything goes wrong, we'll take care of it. The only thing that they aren't taking care of right now is grease fires.
Is what? Is what?
Grease fires.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
If a grease fire happens below the grill, Traeger's actually been taking them through like FaceTime and stuff with them, kind of what's going on. If that's kind of, it's happened. It can happen just because if a customer overhangs the meat on a part that doesn't have the grill grate or the drip pan catching it, it can cause a fire, and it's kind of the customer's fault after that.
So with that being said, that is one of the items on the little bullet point that you can tell the customer. But there's one thing that's really important, right, Justin? Just like a Weber grill, when you buy it, you need to do what?
Register,
right? You need to register your grill, and then they're able to help you just lickety split on whatever question or problem you might have. And And
It'll save about 15
I'll keep
minutes.
Paul Weber out here, Justin, okay? But
Yeah.
you know, I have the most experience with their interaction. They do a pretty doggone good job of helping customers or us out when we have a need. But the first thing they always ask is make sure that that customer has their grill registered. And that's the same thing we need to do with Traeger. So kind of put that in the back of your mind. It's also on the call out bullet points. Remind the customer when they get it home, purchased it, register it right away, okay? So I just open it up. Does anybody have any questions that they may want to ask Justin about Traeger grill?
Yeah, Justin, this is Steve. I have one question. Your warranty doesn't cover it if it falls out of the back end of the pickup on the way home, does it?
Unfortunately not.
I'm just
but-
kidding you. I'm just kidding you. Okay. Hey,
Well, I mean, if
I
you
do
know-
have a question for our team. What are the two things that should always go out the door with their Traeger grill? What's number one? A cover. If you can't sell a cover to a new grill owner, then you're not trying very hard, because they just invested $5,000-6,000 and they want to protect that grill. So you gotta sell covers, grill covers. And the second thing is what?
Steve, right? Not to interrupt you, but to sell them, we got to make sure we got them on hand, right?
Right, and that the manager's got to get them on hand. So you got to make sure you got covers for every one of your grills. So you might as well order the covers 1-to-1. Okay. And then what's the second item you got to walk out the door with? What? Receipt. But also, what do they need to make that grill go? Pellets. All right. Now, one thing they're going to ask is what? Do they got to plug in the grill, right? They think it's a pellet grill, right? Does it need a plug-in? Yeah. Even though it's a pellet grill, the heat comes from the pellets, but still needs electricity, right? Okay.
another big accessory is the front shelf too. The customer needs it. It's a great feature to have if you can get that.
Good.
So
Any other questions?
the difference between the tailgater and the Pro 22 does not have the app, correct?
No, the tailgater doesn't have the app or the Ranger or the 22 and 30.
Okay.
Just the
So the-
Pro D2 grills, that the
Okay.
575-780.
So it's pretty easy to upsell to an app, right? What would be the
Yeah.
benefits of the app, as Justin said? You just set the temperature what you want and it goes,
Yep.
right? And it cooks
I mean,
to the.
I
put
still
it-
got my phone here, and it's at 453 right now. I don't know if you guys can see it, and I got it set at 450 right now. And the sun's directly on it today, so it's kind of second guessing itself a little bit, but running pretty much on the money.
Okay,
So kind of back to our inventory too. So we are loading up our inventory. Desiree and her team at 70 Van Dorn graciously volunteered to house all that extra inventory. So if you have a customer, because the reality is we just can't put every model in every store, right? We just don't have the room. But this help sheet will have the list of the models that are available. And first thing you do, if somebody's ready for one, you can reach out to 70th and Van Dorn, see if we've got it in stock, and we'll get it to you, okay? So don't let a customer walk out just because you don't have one in a box. I promise you, I see every store outside of Pawnee 2-3 times a week. We'll get you the box for the customer, okay? The second thing that on the, lost my train of thought. The inventory we're holding there. At Westo and at 70th, we're going to be setting a new 4-foot planogram for Traeger accessories that kind of adds to the backdrop of the display because we have the room. And Justin sending us some POP, a nice POP kit. I'll take a picture of that and share it with all your store managers. What you might be able to pull from that preset planogram that he's got are some key items that you might want to carry, okay, without having to commit a whole 4-foot section to it. But
I saw that ship last week too, so it should be getting to you very quick.
it's sent by post office. It'll probably be 3 or 4 months from now. But anyhow, any other questions for Justin?
oh, one thing we have to make sure we're all on the same page. they may come in and ask, do you assemble it for free? And the answer is yes. Do you deliver it for free? And the answer is
Above $400.
okay.
We'll
It's-
do it
yeah.
within city limits, right, Steve?
What's that? Yeah,
Within
within the city
we'll
limits.
deliver. Yes,
So
no
we'll,
charge.
we'll assemble and that's what Ace is offering. So we're gonna offer free delivery and free assembly. Okay,
And if I
everybody
don't-
okay with that?
I don't want to cloud it. There's one caveat to that, okay? If you get a ship to store where a customer bought it online and it's shipped to your store for them to pick up, we are charging $25 to assemble that, Steve, okay?
Yeah.
And here's why.
We don't
We
make.
make nothing off that grill to ship to store. So we'd actually be losing money to assemble and everything else. So if you get a ship to store, we don't get it very often. Desiree and her team gets probably the most ship to store grills, but we do charge them if they want to have it assembled, okay? Any other questions? Thanks, Steve.
No.
Oh,
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I really appreciate your guys' time. I hope you got something out of it. And please feel free to talk grill with me anytime. I love my job. I love Traeger. It's easy to talk about.
Hey, Justin, before you go, one last thing. I noticed on your website, you have a Traeger week in May, I think it is, or June. Do any cook-offs or anything work very good? Or can a guy have grills out in the parking lot and, do some grilling? Or what, have you found any of those promotions work very good?
Yeah, as long as it's in your parking lot to where we can take customers and sell them grills and stuff, is about all we look for.
Okay,
Just so we have product on hand and everything.
yeah. Okay, thanks, Justin.
Yep.
all right, thanks, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you
I
guys
like
so
that
much.
hat.
I hope you guys have a good night.
You gonna send us some of those nice hats of yours to help
Yeah.
us?
Hey.
Girls?
Hey, if you never
put
know,
you
I
on the
might carry
spot
some
there,
around with me. So
Okay, all right, we'll see you.
yeah, thanks guys.
All right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our next area that I wanted to take just a few moments. Oh, there we go. And that's our live plants, our business this year. And so here's the scoop. We went with the company. Some reason we're not going to get the order we placed back in October. We got our perennial, our butterfly perennial garden selection we got in the 4 stores that we're selling live plants in. We had to take a quick turnaround, right, Craig? And Craig really stepped in, helped us out, put together an order with a different vendor. So we will receive vegetables, annuals, baskets, some Boston ferns, and a few other things here next week, right? Toward the end, hopefully Wednesday through Friday-ish, I'll put it that way. And then the following week, we'll get some more product, okay? So if you have customers asking, the stores I was in this week, and I was just telling everybody, make sure you let the customers know we are getting vegetables, we are getting annuals, we are getting baskets, but we'll start receiving those this next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So today's the 25th, 6th, 7th. So hopefully sometime between the 28th and 30th of April, we'll have them, okay? And I apologize. It's one of those things, you can only do what you can do when a vendor kind of doesn't come to the table like they committed to. So is everybody clear on that? We are carrying the full assortment. It's just about a week behind, okay? And in all reality, it's still a little early to put vegetables in the ground, if you think about it. So we're going to be just fine. The other part of that I wanted to share with everybody is help me out, help your store managers out. If you see that they have not put on their store manager task list or assigned it to somebody, what's the most important thing we need to do with the plants once we have them? Water, right? So if you're coming into work and it looks like the plants are begging for a drink, don't open up a cold beer and pour it on it, right? Get with your manager and have somebody get out there and water them, okay? We're pretty good with 1 to 2 waterings now. With the wind, it really dries it out. But once we hit end of May and into June, 2-3 times a day is about the norm that we'll have to water them. Our goal, what?
Have awning cover over them or anything like
Yeah,
that?
you guys will have a sunshade cloth. So, but you think about it, look at all these parking lot folks that they sell it, they don't have any kind of cover on it. That's that daily care of water that's most important. Okay. And I know the wind doesn't help us, but anyhow, we definitely do our part in it. Just to share it to everybody, looks like it's been the last 4 or 5 years. Our goal is to be out of live plants by July 1st. We may squeak on a couple more days after, but once you hit July, it is just too hard to maintain live goods without, you know, a really nice indoor setup, and we just don't have that space available. So kind of keep that in mind as you're conversing with customers, because sometimes it'll get them to purchase a little sooner instead of waiting till later. Okay. So Craig, I got a question for you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I talked about perennials, right? And I talked about annuals. If you were to share with the team here, what's the 2 most important things you can talk to a customer about the difference in a perennial and an annual? Greg,
Thanks, Alan.
you'll get a drink of water if you do this right.
Yeah,
With plants.
I don't know anything about plants.
I know you don't.
So anyway,
You have
On
30
the-
seconds.
I'm on the
I
spot
should've
here,
said that,
so
shouldn't I?
we'll get through here real quick. Alan just want me to say the simple words of one, on your perennials, they come back every year, and the other, your annuals, you have to replant every year. But the truth of the matter is, sorry, Alan,
That's fine.
is every annual, every plant is actually a perennial. It just depends on where you grow it. When you see on your little cards, you'll see a zone number, zone 2, 3, or so on. Nebraska is zone number 3. So anything above 3 and to the north of us is all perennial type products. Anything 3 and below and higher numbers are going to be a annual, because they cannot handle our winter. So that's what makes a perennial and an annual the difference between the two. In our area, even stuff like a Shasta daisy is actually grown in Alaska. We could grow it here in Nebraska and not have a problem.
But
But
I
we,
lived in Alaska
Yep.
3 years, Craig, and I have to tell you, their daisies are like that big compared to ours. They're like supersized.
so what we're getting in here the next couple of weeks is actually some tropicals that we have pre-ordered from our vendor Swift, which has hibiscus in it, has Boston ferns and so on. Those are definitely not perennials in Nebraska, but we bring them in for color, bring them in for people like to hang them around their house and look so nice. But they're very temperamental. Like a hibiscus plant, by the way, I mean, they can't even take a 40-degree outside temperature without nipping it. So we try to maintain our perennials, making sure that they're zone 3. We can get by and tweak a little 4 every once in a while, but we just got moved into zone 3 the last few years. But that's what really makes your annuals and your perennials. If you look in the back of those cards, they'll show you zones, or even your garden seeds will show you zones where things grow at. But typically, if you got to replant it every year, it's an annual. If you have to, like a tree, a shrub, those are all perennials, and you can bring those back every year, like a clematis plant and so on. So, any questions?
Very good, Craig. Thank you. Appreciate that. Put him on the spot tonight. But
Mr. Green Thumb.
if there's one thing, you know, besides replant and come back every year, that zone thing that Craig touched on is so important to know that we are in zone 3. And then customers can kind of relate. They may take that back home with them. If they're a smart person, they'll go do what? Google, right? And find out all other kinds of things that are working here in Nebraska for us. But this tropical Nebraska hardy line that we're going to carry, I'm excited to see what that does for us. The Boston ferns, Craig, he committed, they're going to be a 10-inch pot or planter. And he said they look like 12, 14, 16 inch. Actually, they're so big. But those are soon to come to share with you. Okay. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and hopefully you can kind of see this, is every store should have a scan sheet. And we do lots of these to help it make easier for you not to have to memorize everything, but use a quick scan sheet to scan an item in for a customer when they're ready to check out. The nice thing about kind of our plant assortment, all those perennials that are in that butterfly garden assortment have how many SKUs? One SKU, right? So you can't go wrong with scanning it. That's how we gather the information back to the vendor to tell them how many we sold and what we should do next year. But if you haven't seen this in your store, now this is a nice, very pretty background. Who made this? Carson?
Yeah.
Yep, Carson did it down here. You don't have to get that artistic, but it is nice. Little flowers in the background. Everyone should have this at their front registers. And if you don't, tap your manager on the back of the head and say, hey, where's our scan sheet? Okay. So with that being said, any kind of just general questions on live plants? I know you're going to get asked questions from customers. Can you carry this? Do you have that? If you all would just do what we always ask on any product in the store, write it down in your binder up front, get with your store manager. We'll gather kind of what customers are asking for so that next year when we put together our purchasing plan, we might be able to ask for that assortment to be added. So, you know, just like the Traeger grills and anything else in the store, space, right? We only have so much space. So we usually try to carry the you know, top 15 or 20 items in live plants, because the reality of things is this: 80% of your business in live goods is done on about 20% of the items you carry. So we want to commit the most space to those 20% items because that's what's turning every week and what customers are looking for. Okay.
Hey, Alan,
Yes, sir.
don't forget this is Carson's other handiwork.
Oh, very
Show
nice.
that.
Okay. Maybe I could get you to make 5 copies. Could you do that for me? All right, I'll pick them up tomorrow. Okay. Nice little Traeger scan sheet. And if you notice on it, we did have to go up to $16.99 on Traeger pellets. And the simple reason behind that is the cost went up a couple dollars. So we still are the best price in town. Everybody else went up to $18.99. So we can still show a shop and compare, and you can tell customers that, right? Unfortunately, I can't put that in an advertisement because it's map priced. They tell us you can't do that, but we can do whatever we want inside our store to communicate that to the customer. But please remember, we did go up $2. And then he shared with me another one. So, you know, stores, you can do whatever you want that helps the team at the registers by creating these little help scan sheets. And, you know, then the customer wouldn't have to sit and wait. Okay. So hopefully that helps with our live plans.
A couple questions for Craig and you, Alan. Did we get enough flowers to do our Mother's Day deal or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're not.
You want to tell them how we're going to do that, Alan, for Mother's Day giveaway?
Sure. So first of all, we didn't put it in our advertisement in the paper. And you all know why. I didn't want to put it in there, and then the vendor came back and said, I can't help you, right? So I learned that too many times. Don't do it. Now we'll do some Facebook, Instagram, emails, in-store advertisement, all of that, right? But we're gonna get it's 200 per store. And it's a 4-pack. Thanks, Craig. We should be receiving them the week of leading up to Mother's Day. And that weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of Mother's Day. And they have to be a reward club member. And the mothers will get a free 4-pack flower. Okay. If the kids are there and they're going to give it to their mother, right, we'll take care of the kids to give their mother a free 4-pack. Okay.
About employees.
First, we'll take care of the customers, right?
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a demeaning manner. You guys are all very important, right? Don't get me wrong, but we want to always take care of the customers first, and then what we've got, you bet. Okay, great question, Gary. So what we'll do most likely, Craig, help me remind me. We did one of these kind of giveaways a year ago, 2 years ago, and we had a little coupon, didn't we? And so what you'll do is you'll scan the product, and then you'll scan the coupon. So what that does is it removes it off their, removes it out of our inventory, but it also takes the charge away from the customer. Okay. That kind of makes sense. It'll make more sense once we get the little coupon to everybody. We probably, I think, already have one made. We'll make sure all the stores have it, but very simple process, Steve.
Thank you. Oh, and the other thing is related to Traeger. I couldn't say this when Justin was on the phone, but we're going to promote the ironwood, and we're going to promote it's $11.99 sale price. We're going to promote it at $9.99. We can't do it in the paper because it has a minimum advertised price or MAP pricing. But in other words, you're going to be able at Glenn's True Value to get an ironwood that Home Depot will have at $11.99. You'll be able to sell it to people for $9.99.
And that'll be the
So-
Ironwood 650, Steve. Yep.
Yeah, 650. And that's what those other Pro Series cost is $999. So you're going to be able to offer an Ironwood for the same price as the lower Pro Series, which is pretty amazing.
You're probably wondering, I wonder if that guy Alan went out and had Desiree order a bunch of both of those, and the answer is no. So we ordered more Ironwoods, right? And we cut back and actually didn't order any of those 780s. So we're going to promote the Ironwood and not have both inventories there. Because
Ironwood in the store here.
you will, we will, if we're going to run a Father's Day event, we'll try to get one in every store, okay? But keep in mind, we should be able to handle one in every store. Then keep in mind, if you don't sell it and we've got another store that we know we can sell, we'll move inventory around. It's
So
like
let's
we
say
do.
we sell more than one, we sell a lot at the Traegers.
Sure.
Would we call 70?
Yep, you bet. Yep, we'll keep the back stock up there for you, okay? And get it to you as you need, okay? Yep, great question. So we got in a small portion of the chunk that we ordered, but it was such a big order last week, they had to hold 4 pallets over, and we're getting them this week. So we'll have a very significant amount back in, okay? Any other questions on live plants or Traeger? I hope everybody likes these scan sheets that we put together. The team puts a lot of work into them, and I appreciate usually it's the managers or they have somebody assigned to do it in the store. And they do a great job with it. And we always share with all the stores to make it easy for not only you at the register, but for our customers, okay? All right, let's jump into services offered. And this was kind of something we took on a couple weeks ago because we had 5 different programs in 5 different stores, right? And if you can see this, everybody should have some kind of form like this laminated at the front, and it's the services offered that we have visible to our customers. So it tells us customers what our mower blade sharpening is, what our chainsaw blade sharpening is, mower tune-up charge, screen repair, not your phone screen, but your screen windows or doors, right? We had a customer ask that the other day. The cost of cut keys. And so what I did was made these specific to your store. So if you don't do cut glass or plexiglass, it's not listed, right? Now you can always tell a customer our stores in Lincoln, 70th and Van Dorn, West O, and South Coddington do cut glass and do cut plexiglass, okay? And we kind of went one step further with that, not to bore you here, but we are going to have the same SKUs or the same panes at each of the stores too, instead of being all over the board like we were before, okay? So we kind of simplified it, made it consistent. So the next thing we did, and everybody should have another one like this, and this is visible to you and your team members, not to our customers, because they don't need to know, it doesn't really matter to them what the SKUs are, right? So what we did again is every store has the same SKU that we use for each of those services. And every store is priced the same now as well, okay? So if you happen to come up and help in one of the other stores, it's consistent, right? You don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. And we've been trying to do that over the last couple of years, get more consistency from store to store on store created SKU numbers. So that nice little help sheet, you can just look at it. It tells you what the SKU number is. It gives you the description in case there's a question there. And then it goes into any other detail that you might need to know about how we charge for screen repair and glass and plexiglass cutting, okay? Just so everybody knows this, on glass and on glass, right, Craig? Craig made a recommendation that we go away from kind of how we used to do it to kind of what the industry is doing now. So on glass cutting, we sell a customer, say they come in, they want a 10 by 12 piece cut, okay? We go to our assortment, we find the pane that's closest to that, charge the customer, because all the stores that do glass and plexiglass have another help sheet that lists out with the SKU number, a bin label, and all they do is scan it for that particular glass pane. We cut it to the size the customer wants. We tell the customer, here's the excess, so they can take the excess glass with them or plexiglass. If they don't want it, you do what with it? Dispose of it, okay? I don't want any of that excess stuff saved for a rainy day. And here's why we can do that. We got our money's worth from that pain, right? And if you can see, and I was in a store trying to cut, I got a nice cut on my arm here. Mostly my fault, but what did we have sitting in a bucket next to the cutting device? Scrap glass, right? And it's doggone sharp, right? And I'm an old guy and I bleed really easy, okay? So here's what we're doing though. We don't keep the scrap. You always offer to the customer if they want it. If they don't, you dispose of it immediately, okay? So that kind of helped us get consistency. Now, there's a question that might be out there. If I'm a customer and I bring in a painted glass or plexiglass, we do not cut anything brought into us, okay? And it's just simply because of liability. We break it, they're gonna want us to pay for it. Even though you tell them I'm not gonna pay for it if I break it, they're still gonna, you know what, right? So we do not do that, okay? If you deal with one of those customers that just is being really rough on you about it, we don't want you to deal with that. Call your manager, right? Get them to interact with the customer and take care of it, okay? Fair enough? Now, what we do on that pane, so if I'm cutting a 10 by 12, we do charge the customer a $1 cut fee. Now that doesn't mean for 4 sides each, it's just $1 to cut that pane and then the charge of the actual pane itself. And those of you that do that service on your little scan sheet, it tells you all of those things. So you can't mess it up, okay? Very simple. And like always, if you have a question, please ask before you move forward on it. So we're ensuring we're doing the right thing for the customer, okay? Any questions on the services?
Yes, I have one. Paul.
Yes, sir.
It came from this team.
Ah, yes.
Is Hickman ever going to cut glass?
Well, Craig, what was the one thing we probably need if we're going to be able to cut glass here?
Glass cutter.
And
Glass.
space.
Oh,
That's really why we didn't do it down here.
Just
Because
send them to me, Greg.
what's that?
Just send them to me.
Yeah, send them up north, right? But we'll still work on that, right? And we just got to find space, right?
we send our returns to Glenn's.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that nice, brotherly and sisterly love, right? So any other questions on services? Like I said, if you don't have one and a customer asks about it, reach out to your fellow, send them to the stores that do, okay? So I can tell you right now, South Coddington, 7th and Van Dorn, Westo offer the full array of services. That's from cutting glass to plexiglass, and then everybody else has really the same, I think, offerings, minus those 2 things, okay? I think every store also got a new key chart that was put together to kind of help tell the customers what each key costs as well, okay? All right.
Does everybody get about returns? What you tell somebody if they want to return something is you say Westlake Ace is doing all of our returns for us. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Yes, ask for a receipt.
Yeah, that one too.
Which
Now
one?
they're all Westlake.
Yeah, they're all Westlakes now, Lincoln.
Yeah.
Not gonna find it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Steve. All right,
Yeah.
Steve, I just want to give the team a quick update on our e-commerce that we touched on last meeting.
Yeah, I will. Before I get to e-commerce, I'm gonna summarize what we did last meeting, right? Because one of the things we answer the phone, Glenn's True Value, this is Steve. How may I help you? All right. You always got to put your name in there. We're not doing it all right. Glenn's True Value, this is Steve. That's all you got to say. Glenn's True Value, this is Mike. Right? It's that simple. All the time. Managers, I need you to listen to that. When people come in the door, we're doing better, but we're not there yet. Welcome to Glenn's True Value, right? That's all you got to say. And it's hard when you're at the cash register, but you got to have your antenna up and say, Glenn's True Value, or welcome to Glenn's True Value, right? That's all you got to say. And you got to yell it. I was really impressed this last week when I walked into Westo and also into Coddington is I heard the guys doing it. So everybody, managers, I need you to be very conscious of it. I know when you're at a cash register helping a customer, it's hard, but just a simple welcome to Glenn's True Value. Now, I even heard a guy say, "Oh, I didn't know this was Glenn's True Value," because we never said it, right? So
Looking for Westlake Ace and where you could do his returns at, right?
yeah, right. So we want to make sure we answer the phone. Glenn's True Value, this is Steve, and welcome to Glenn's True Value. And what's the thing first thing we ask when they walk up to the cash register? What's your phone number, please? Please, 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 right? We don't say, do you have a membership rewards card? We say, what's your phone number, please? I was impressed by Coddington when I was there over the weekend. They were doing a great job of asking for the phone number, and almost everybody had their phone number. They gave it to them. So that was very good as well. And then the last thing is they're going out the door. What do we say? Anybody? We say, thanks for shopping at Glenn's True Value. Glenn's True Value. That's our brand, Glenn's True Value. Okay. So I need us to keep reinforcing that. And the other two things that we talked about last week were our store opens, even though it's not published, it opens at 10 minutes till, and it closes at 10 minutes after. We don't publish that. We still have published hours, but that's how we make people happy if they arrive 5 minutes late and our doors are open. So with that, and the next thing I wanted to bring up was our e-commerce. We're just days away from launching it. It's really super. You guys will like it. It's a very good program. We're testing it. We got another week of testing, and we're launching it. We're testing our pricing and how our bargains of the month, if they show up or not, and that type of stuff. We will not be delivering right away. It'll all be pick up in store. Okay. So your manager will be trained first, and then he or she will have a person when they're not here in charge of that process. And the nice thing, you get notified by text or email. I think it's text, isn't it? Yeah, it's by text. They've got an order. You got to go see if we've got it. And if we do, you say, there's a process that the manager will go through everybody, but it's very exciting that we hope to be working through this for the next 2 to 3 months and then launch our delivery service sometime in the next 2 to 3 months. So we'll literally be competing with the contemporary people. So the nice thing is a lot of our stuff is actually a lot cheaper than Amazon. I don't know if you guys look at Amazon pricing much at all, but a lot of our hardware stuff is actually third-party Amazon, which means Amazon doesn't carry it, but a third party does, and their prices are outrageous. So we can actually compete very good with Amazon, and when we get in the delivery business. And we are in the process. We've talked to a person that we haven't finalized it yet, but we're hoping to launch our handyman service that will run out of this store, 70th Street, but we'll have a handyman service that will be all done online through our website.
Yeah.
And that's coming up in probably several months. So anything else I need to touch base on the e-commerce at all, Alan?
No, I tell you, it's a very simple to execute. What we've been kind of taking more time to get right, Steve, is some of the things that kind of happen behind the scenes on how it's properly accounted for in each store, and some of the messaging that the customers get if we don't have an item isn't quite what we want yet. So really the process is so simple. You'll have a really easy guideline that'll follow how to do it. You do it once, and I'm telling you, it's so easy. You're going to like that part of it. But we just want to make sure before we went full force with it, that some of the backdoor things were really accurate, so we don't look foolish with our customers. Okay, we want to launch it right. Okay.
You bet. And one last thing I wanted to also reinforce to the team here that may not be aware of fertilizer, but the first thing that people are putting down is pre-emergence, the crabgrass. How late can they put that down, Craig and Alan? Till about May 10th.
Yeah, by the 5th, I mean, it's always about temperature, right? But, people still be putting it out May 15th. And here's why we may see it go a little longer this year. More and more reporting, and if you Google things about it, they're telling people now it's not a bad thing to do an early and then a little later, late spring, early summer application of it, because you'll get an extra kill on the crabgrass. So we may see it go a little longer than it usually does, simply because of that information that's being given out to people via YouTube, Google, and all those other crazy.
You bet. And then you'll go from the crabgrass, which is the blue bag, step 1, right? You'll go into the weed feed, which is the yellow bag, both the green thumb and the other one. And that's basically your all around. And the one thing you need to tell people, they need to put that down when it's moist, the grass is moist, because the weed killer on the fertilizer has to land on the weed and stick to the weed to work. And the only way you do that was when it's moist, when you apply it. So tell them to apply it when it's moist. Okay. It's very important. Anything you mentioned, Grubex too.
Grubex should be put down earlier because our winters are not as cold, and Scott's recommended that it get put down earlier instead of waiting until around July 4th.
Okay. So that means probably Grubex in June, right?
No, they were going
Now?
they were going April, May.
Really? Okay.
May for sure.
Okay, so we need to tell people to consider early season Grubex, because that'll ruin a yard. Right? And if they buy grass seed, you have to sell grass fertilizer starter. Okay, you can grow grass on the floor if you put starter. So whenever you sell grass, what are you going to tell them? You need to put down, it has to be starter fertilizer too. Okay.
And we carry 3 sizes. We carry a small bag, medium-sized bag, and then was it a 1? Okay. Oh, the starter. So we've got it available in whatever size the customer might need. Okay. All right. Can you hear me yet? We had a little break. Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks, Steve. Hey, before we go to our last thing of the evening, wanted to make sure, Desiree, can you kind of wave your hand there?
I can't see you.
Yeah.
Desiree, stand up.
Desiree is our
Hobble
new
to the
store
screen.
manager over at 70th and Van Dorn. And so welcome aboard, Desiree. We're excited to have you. I do just want to give a call. I see a few of you guys there and thank them personally for just continue to really help make things happen in the store in between some changes in store managers, etc. And it wouldn't happen without the guys at that store that have helped and will help Desiree grow in her job. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Okay. Mike.
Yeah.
Can you wave your hand?
I'm here.
Okay. Mike's he's been with us for about 4 or 5 months now. He's over at South Coddington with the team there. So if you hadn't seen him, welcome. Okay. And then Cheryl, we all know who Cheryl was. She helped us out at South Coddington for a while and moved back to West O as our store manager there. So thanks them again too. Okay. So let's close this on a real positive note here. Steve, do you want to kind of tell the team what you and Marie put together for the last year from an award perspective?
Well, we wanted to put in, thank you, Alan. We wanted to put in an award that each year we would acknowledge a manager of the year and then also just the team player of the year. And we actually honored Mark Massey. What?
Oh, don't say who got it though, okay?
No. We actually make it the Mark Massey Award because Mark was with us for I don't know how many years. He helped us move over here we were on 70th and A, and he helped us move here from there. And then just this last year, kind of decided to take a back seat. But he was always a lot of our customers basically commented about it. You're doing a good job when your customers will search me out and say, hey, I just love working here with your store, and this manager or this person. So we decided to call it the Mark Massey Award. And because he knew almost everything about hardware and just seemed to be very, very customer conscious and friendly. So with that, Alan, I'm going to have you take it from here.
Yeah, so these awards are really cool. They're neat. I like always recognizing somebody about them, and then most importantly, somebody that is awarded that. Now, that doesn't mean anybody on our team isn't worthy of it. It was actually a very, very challenging decision to make. Store managers helped us out. Steve and Marie had input on it as well. But you know, I really want to say we had a challenging year last year. We had a phenomenal sales year, but it was so challenging from the influx of customers, and we were fighting availability with vendors, and we had some folks in some stores that had to take 2 weeks off or 4 weeks off or 6 weeks, 8 weeks off because they had a family member that was susceptible to the outcome of COVID and didn't want to expose themselves to that for their family member. So we had some opportunities in staffing simply because of that. And, you know, availability of folks out there, it was tough. So my hat's off. And I know Steve, you and Marie and your family agree with this. Just did a phenomenal job in a very challenging year from everything that was thrown at us. Okay. And it was phenomenal. I was so proud of the team. We had some tough times, but we always figured out how to overcome them. We had folks from different stores helping out at different stores at different times, simply because we had a need. They wanted to pick up some extra hours, and they jumped in and helped out. So, you know, our sales this year, we probably aren't going to match some months simply because it was such a spike. And the reality of things is people did projects, big projects last year that they never would have probably dreamed of. And now they're not having to redo the big project. They just have to maintain it, right? So where they maybe put $400 into a big project, this year they're putting $100 back into maintaining it. And the simple math is it's tough to equate all that, okay? So that doesn't mean we're doing bad. If you really were to look at sales from 2 years ago, compared it to this year, we're blowing that out of the water, which is great. And we've got some tough months ahead of us because of the COVID. A lot of people staying at home and doing projects they never would have dreamed of. So now our challenge this year, though, unfortunately, we have a bigger, it seems like, isn't it, Craig, challenge with availability on product than we did last year in the midst of it all. So just bear with it. The nice thing is most customers understand, right? It's not just us. It's anything and everything they touch, right? It seems like they're hearing that there's a shortage, right? And the vendors are trying to work through that as fast as they can and manufacture and provide. So just let the customers know, be honest with them. Don't make up some long story about why or why not or why you think, right? Just be honest with them. Tell them we're just not able to get it. Take their information. If we get it, we call them back and we provide it with them, okay? But with all that said, just great year last year again. I know you've heard it before, but great teamwork. Everybody stepped in and helped each other out where we had a need, and so forth. Okay, and we're really kicked off this year, Steve, progressing in the same direction. Okay, so if you can't see this, it's going to be posted actually in our 70th and Van Dorn store, right up at the front register to the left of it. I think we'll find a spot, Desiree. Okay, that's very visible. And we're posting it there. Even if the winner isn't from that store, we're still going to post it there, kind of in honor of what the name of the award is, the Mark Massey Award, because that's where he worked this whole time with us. Okay. So I'll start with the manager of the year. Actually, it's the store that I'm standing in tonight is Craig Weiner. So congratulations. You know, I got to tell a quick story. Okay. So when I left Walmart after 28 plus years and wanted to get in a whole different environment, get away from all that other crazy stuff you deal with in a big company, I got an opportunity to come work with this team, and I don't even look back. It's the best thing I ever made. I wish I would have done it 15 or 20 years ago. But I met Craig And he kind of looked me up and down, you know how you do, like you're not sure where this guy come from. And I always wonder, what the heck did I ever do to Craig, you know, to upset him, or what story was told about me. So finally, after about 6 months, he kind of finally, I just said, "Hey, Craig, what's up, right? You know, we got to work together, make things work right, on and on and on." And said, did I do something? I look at you funny? Did I call you a name or what? And finally he said, well, here's the issue. I was told that they hired some accountant from some company and he was gonna do our accounting for our company. And that Shirley actually told me this too. But that's farthest from the truth. I'm not an accountant. Okay.
I look like one.
Thank you. But I've been in retail and a store operator for 30 some years now. And so after that little conversation, I think we cleared the air. And I couldn't tell you, there's not a better partner that I enjoy working with and bouncing things off. And when I need an event and I can't vent at Steve, I can give Craig a call or stop in here and vent, and it's all better. Okay. Because you always need to remember one thing. If you have an issue or a question, always bubble up, right? And
Come to Craig.
come to Craig. Yes. Come to your store manager and they come to me and we try to figure out what we need better. Okay. Because we all make mistakes at the end of the day. But Craig, well deserved. Appreciate everything you do, not only for your store, your community, but for the company.
This is a team effort.
Hats off to you. Okay. So now we have the teammate of the year. Okay. And guess what? It came from this store as well. Chris, we're honoring you, Chris Miller, as the teammate of the year. So I'd like to come over and shake your hand. I don't know if that's supposed to yet, but and once again, you know, Craig, I don't know if you really probably should be the one to say a few words, but you know, I got to help set the store up. Chris has been here since we set the store up. I can remember all the craziness, right, that we went through, and it, you know, that never ends, right? You're always changing things, but she always has a smile. She's always trying to look out for the customer. She's well engaged in a community, right, which is so important when you're in a smaller community, that you have connection to the community, right? It's a little harder sometimes in Lincoln, but it doesn't mean it can't happen, right? And many of you in all your stores know that. You know lots of your customers by name, and it's no different down here in Hickman. And Chris, you're just a great example of that. And once again, you're not only a benefit to store 2039, 20309 in Hickman, but just a great asset to our company. So congratulations. Greg, I don't know if you want to say a few things.
When we started the Hickman project, the first hire that I did for the store was Chris. She's the first person that found me to come in and interview. Chris has been down in Hickman for most of her life. I think she's moved away a little bit, but she does know everybody in town. She's been a great asset to me. She's helped me out so many things. Now she takes care of all the pop. She takes care of all the candy. She takes care of a lot of little details that I wouldn't have time for, and she makes it look wonderful. She does all special orders. She reminds me constantly to order worms. Ethan, you got worms? But anyway, she's been a huge asset for me. She's something that I definitely could not do without her at the store level. And Chris, she's been with the state for 30,000 years, going on 36,000. And she still manages to get up and get to her job 6 in the morning. She managed to get here at 4 o'clock to help us out. She did such a great job that we hired both her kids. They're doing really good. They're learning all little details in the school too, all little projects. So we hired them to come help water our plants. That was the main goal. And we kept them on board because they did well at the register, did well at the customers, and get knowing the community. So, but personally, I couldn't do any of this stuff without this team, and I could not do anything without Chris. She's been the most important asset I have ever had, and a huge success to this store. So she takes ownership of this store just like it was hers, and you couldn't ask for more of an employee than that, and a team member. So anyway, Chris, congratulations.
Great, thank you. Again, congratulations, Chris and Craig, both very well deserved, very such a great representation of really what I know Steve and Marie's intent of having this award in place. So thanks again. We really look forward to next year and who we can award it to, because like I said, we've got so many great team members out there that really make it happen. Because I tell you, it still to this day, after being with the group for 5 years, it just blows me away. Now, with the things we do, right? There's not a office somewhere in another state that has 10 people that help support us to do this or make that decision or deal with some IT things. It's all the team members in the store that make it happen each day or figure out how to make it happen. And truly a great representation of entrepreneurial fortitude, right? You don't get stuck in a rut, you figure it out and you overcome it. And I know sometimes we all can get very frustrated with, gosh, why are they making us do that? Why are they making us say, hello, Lens Truvat, this is Alan. And why are we doing this? And at the end of the day, you know, it's very simple, right? It's what our customers desire. It's what makes us different than those big boxes that some of us may have worked for in the past. It adds that personal touch because our customers have thousands of choices to where they can buy water, batteries, paints, on and on and on, right? But it's very important that we treat them and let them know that we really do appreciate them shopping locally, number one, because we are a locally owned company, and choosing us over all those other choices, right? You got to make them feel special. And that's why we ask our team members to do certain things, because we want to highlight the importance of that customer interaction, okay? At the end of the day, we are very well priced on lots of things, but reality is we are higher priced on some things simply because our buying power isn't to the extent of a Walmart, a Target, on and on, right? Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, et cetera, et cetera. But where we can do it, we do it, and we highlight it with our shop and compare. I hope all of you highlight it with the customers. You know, we had this buy 4, get 1 free Traeger pellets, right? Heck of a deal. That puts it at, you know what? Well, before we went up to $16.99, it put it at $11.99, but then it put it at $13.99 a bag, which is phenomenal. Very easy way to get them hooked on a rewards card because that's how they get it. And it's a great way to kind of build our basket, right? Instead of 1 bag or 2 bags, they bought 4. We did give them a free one, but you're building loyalty with that customer, right? And that's why we ask our team members to do certain things, is to appreciate the customer for making that choice to shop with us over all those other choices. So I'll quit rambling. I just wanted to say thanks again for participating tonight. And if you have things that you'd like to include in future company training events like this, please let your store managers know so that we can talk about and see how we can work it into it, okay? We can't do everything in one sitting, right? We just don't have the time, but we can keep feeding it and keep improving on it, and we'll all get better at it, okay? Thanks again, Steve. Anything else?
No, I just want to thank everybody for your hard work. We know this is like Christmas. The hardware business is April, May, and June. We're right here. So thank you all for the time and the energy, and thanks for being kind and gracious with our customers and your coworkers too. It makes it so much easier when the coworkers all pitch in like you guys all do. So thank you so much for what you do. It's very much appreciated. And you know, this is the fun season in hardware when you get to sell grills and all the fun stuff of lawn and garden. And I think we're doing pretty good with our inventory of stuff. It feels better this year than what it did last year with grills and fertilizer and some of the stuff we have. So thank you all, because I know that's a lot of work doing all that stuff. So thanks again. And I guess good night, huh?
Yep, good night. Drive safe. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.